My name is Kirby Hansen, and you're watching Securely Connected. All right, welcome back to another episode of Securely Connected. I'm out here at Secured Connections and Wellness, where I spend most all of my time. I'm in the playroom right now, and we're going to talk about some fun things today. Up until this video, the videos have been about my philosophy of care, where I've learned the things I've learned, how I put together these ideas, and why I opened up Secured Connections and Wellness in the first place, how I want to help families, and what it is that I like to do. So now that that's there, if you want to watch that, feel free to go back and watch those videos. But I want to get right down to some of the videos that I want to just get right into it. How do some of these concepts that I was talking about in those first videos actually fit together and make sense in real life? And I thought I'd talk about one of the biggest complaints that I hear out here that parents give me are about the struggles and battles that they have at home. It's like an everyday battle. We're constantly fighting this. It's always happening, and it doesn't seem to get better. And the older they get, the more you think they'd be able to do this on their own, and it just seems like they just can't do it. And why do we have these fights every day? Well, what are the fights about? So when this gets brought up, I want to sit down and I really want to break it down step by step. Who says what first, and how does that go, and then how does this person respond, and what is this about? And I listen for themes. I'm listening for things that maybe most folks might not notice, but also, there's a lot of similarities here sometimes. And I'm listening kind of from a diagnostic ear, like, well, what could this be? What could be happening in this kid's mind? And I really want to know how it feels to be the parent. I want to know how it feels to be the caregiver, the person who's trying to keep things moving along, but I really need to know how it feels to be the kid. And I'll tell kids that. I'll be like, your job coming out here and seeing me is to help me understand how it feels to be you. When I understand how it feels to be you, then I can help you and your parent put together things that are going to help things just go so much smoother at home. And won't that be nice? And that's what I do. I just come out here and I listen. How does it feel to be you? And can we reorganize a few things to make things go a little smoother? There's a few things I tend to notice. One of them is I do see kids that seem to have symptoms of ADHD a lot. Other times I see kids who have symptoms of ADHD and autism, which makes sense because they're both neurodevelopmental disorders, and oftentimes what I'm really noticing are the executive functioning deficits. So if you've heard someone say your child struggles with executive functioning disorder or executive functioning skills, or if teachers at school are like, it's his executive functioning that is what's the problem, then listen closely, because this is what I'm talking about. People who have kids that struggle with executive functioning, see if any of this sounds familiar, complain about not being able to get through routines very well. It happens every day, like Groundhog Day, the same problems over and over again. How hard is it to just go up and get your chore done? Once you get this one chore done, you can then do X, Y, and Z, but instead you spend 40 minutes arguing with me about doing this chore, when actually you could have just done it and been over with it and then been out doing your own thing. Or same with homework. Like, just do your homework. And then you even try to sit down with them and see if you can help them do their homework. And that just becomes this battle, because another thing comes along that oftentimes gets overlooked that does cause a significant block in these types of routines that happen in homes. And that is rejection sensitivity. So out here at Secured Connections, I do meet with kids, but I meet with kids and caregivers. And when I provide caregiving support and suggestions and ideas and ask folks to work through some new caregiving strategies, I'm not trying to be critical of anyone's ability to be a caregiver, but there are times when we need to look at our tools that are in our caregiving toolbox and decide if we need to update any of them. Who packs your caregiving toolbox? All of our toolboxes that we use for these caregiving tools that we use when we're providing care for people, were all packed by those who provided care for us. So my parents packed my caregiving toolbox. Luckily, I have pretty good parents, and they packed some pretty good tools in my repertoire of strategies. But the thing is it was that there were people of their times. It was a long time ago, and some of those tools now are a bit obsolete and don't work as well. The world is very different. And so I was using those same old-fashioned tools with my kids, and it wasn't always going so well. Plus, my kids had different needs than what I had, and so I was messing up as a parent many times. And when I was able to learn some new strategies and try them out, I'm like, ooh, this actually works pretty good for my kid. Now I want to pass that forward. I want to pay it forward and help other folks figure that out also. What other strategies could be used? Rejection sensitivity is something that I totally missed with my children. Wished I wouldn't have, because it would have made things go a whole lot smoother. Okay, so what is rejection sensitivity? Well, there's another video about it that I've already done, but I'm going to throw it in how it fits into this right now. So let's take a look at a situation. I have several of these comic strips that I've made, and they all start off kind of like this, with this caregiver saying, hey, you, not hey, you. They say, hey, it's time to put your screens down and get ready for bed. Or, hey, time for your shower in bed. And then the kid says, okay. And then off they go. And then pretty soon the caregiver comes up there and is like, what on earth are you doing? Why are you not in the shower? And then sometimes the kid is not playing with Legos, or they have their Hot Wheels out, or they're reading a book, or they might have found another electronic device that we didn't notice, and they're playing another game. And this can be infuriating, because it's like every night we have this battle. I told you to get in there and take your shower. Now get in there right now. And those parent words and tone is what triggers rejection sensitivity. So take a look at this. Rejection sensitivity, not to make you feel guilty for your parenting strategies, but if you ever said those things, this is how we load our child's mind with words like, I messed up again, why is this so hard, I keep trying, I can't do anything right, maybe I am just lazy, I messed up again. These are the thoughts that may be, subconsciously lurking in your child's mind, but it leads them to say, I was doing it. I was on my way. I just hadn't got there yet. You didn't give me enough time. And you're like, I did too give you enough time. And then all we're doing now is we're just continuing to fuel this rejection sensitivity. And we know, if you watch these other videos that I've already posted, that mammals can't handle being rejected by their caregiver because it feels very unsafe to them. It's a subconscious type thing. Your kid wouldn't admit it if you asked them about it, but it is what's happening, and it is going to continue happening over and over again unless we can get to the bottom of that. So what's the suggestion? The suggestion is then we need to create shorter, smaller lists. All right? We have to do things more step by step. You might say, he should be able to do that because he's 13 years old. Well, he might be 13 years old, but when he starts looking at this list in his mind, it's jumbled up. The things are moving around. It's kind of like the Post-it notes are just flying off the fan that's turned on, and all these things I need to do to take a shower are just all over the place. And the next thing you know, your 13-year-old is yelling down the hall, Mom, I need my towel. And you're like, oh my God, every day he forgets to take his towel into the bathroom. And so you go up and you do it again. You're like, how come? He is never going to make it in this world, right? So that's where the strategies come in. It's not as easy always as what it seems, but this is where we can get creative with what does this kid need? Do they need a comic strip like this hanging on their bedroom wall? Do you need one hanging in the bathroom? Do we need to make little cards that have the list of things to not forget before you go to the shower that's laminated, so if it goes into the bathroom, it doesn't get ruined? I have a laminator. I'm willing to share it. Possibly. You might be thinking, well, we'll just write it on a piece of paper, the things that he needs. But I'm telling you something about a 13-year-old who has ADHD is going to look at a list of written down things and is just going to see a bunch of words on a paper. It's going to get lost in the clutter. The room already is a mess, right? And so being creative and making something with maybe even some visuals, some images and so forth, even if they are 13 years old, might be what's very helpful. They will learn the skill. Their brain will catch up. It's just not catching up fast enough, and there's things they have to do to get by, and you can't do it all for them. So once these lists are made, it's really kind of exciting for a child with ADHD to learn how to check the list off, how to use the check boxes. It can be very satisfying. And the rejection sensitivity piece, here's the last piece I want to say, for this video is when the child does do the routine correctly, we as caregivers have to catch them. We have to catch them doing it right, and we have to acknowledge it and say, you did a great job. I'm really proud of you. Sometimes we fear doing that, thinking that it'll just cause it to get worse again. And for some kids, it does. Like hearing compliments isn't something they like. And what is it we do about that? We just stop giving them compliments, or do we help them learn how to handle compliments? Because we now know that we are working towards, here's the attachment theory part again, we're working towards instilling a secure attachment in our children, whether we had a secure attachment growing up or not. And one of the things that someone with a secure attachment can do is accept a compliment and praise. They can accept help and they can give help. They can accept praise and they can give praise. When a child cannot accept praise and be told they're doing well, then we need to back up and think about that. How can we get the child to feel comfortable receiving praise so that we can tell them when they do the right thing? Because if we can't tell them when they're doing the right thing, we're going to continue to have, day after day, the same battle of not being able to get through the routine, not being ready for school, not being able to get their homework done, not getting their chore finished in 3 minutes instead it takes 30 minutes or longer. It's going to continue on and on. So hopefully these strategies of breaking things down step by step, making little cue cards, and remembering to celebrate those moments when the kids are doing what they need to do, and really trying to keep tabs on our own buttons when they get pushed and how it is that we can manage them. The comics can help us, and sometimes they give us little clues. Like, for example, when my child doesn't complete the task, I might need the comic to remind me to take a deep breath. So sometimes the comics are designed with this little sign in the background that says, level 3, calming engagement, and then it'll show the caregiver taking a deep breath. Sometimes it'll say, remember to give the directions without screaming my head off. Just say it nicely in a very assertive tone. In the background, you'll see this little sign that says, level 2, structured engagement, and that means be authoritative with your tone and kind at the same time. I said it is time for you to go to bed. You need to put the controller down now and get your shower things ready. Do you want me to help you, or can you take step 1 yourself? That's like a very nice level 2 sort of direction. The kid gets up, not necessarily happy, and then they start getting their things ready to go. And having that little reminder on the comic strip of, here, caregiver, don't forget, do level 2. Don't jump all the way to, yelling, because that's just going to throw the kid up into the, level 4 or something where we're going to need to, repair drywall or fix the door they're going to break. Then, that can be helpful for us also. So that's it for this episode of Securely Connected. I'm glad you were here. Remember always, connection is the intervention. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, please take care. Bye-bye.